Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Land Rover Defender 90, which is the 3-door version of the regular Defender. It is obviously short wheelbase. Straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay. Obviously it gets gas struts. There's insulation right there. It says Land Rover Ingenium on the engine cover, of course, because this is a petrol model. It obviously comes with a lot of engine options as well. And I'm just showing you the engine bay, but the washer fluid actually goes right here. Okay, let's just shut this, which is not much of an effort, and there it shuts. It looks really nice. It looks the same as a regular Defender 110 from the front, of course, but when you come to the side you realize obviously it is much shorter. Land Rover logo right here says Defender boldly on the hood, of course, and this treatment is so that probably you can stand on it or keep your food and eat, and I mean it's so freaking full of friction so that things don't fly as such. Any which ways, you can see these are the lights, which are absolutely beautiful. This is the indicator, of course. At night it looks stupendous, and you know what, they've used a lot of gloss black everywhere. This is actually the fog light, so nice play of colors. Silver finishing here. That is the front parking camera, front parking sensors, and there you can see the underbody at the front. Now coming to the side, you realize this is actually 435mm shorter, both in terms of length as well as wheelbase when compared to the Defender 110 as well as the Defender 130, because both have the same wheelbase. Only thing is the Defender 130 is stretched from behind the wheelbase to make it look ugly. And talking about ugly, well, what is this, Land Rover? How do you have such bad looking alloy wheels? Like one of the worst looking alloy wheels design I have ever seen in cars happens to be on Jaguar Land Rover vehicles only. I mean, ye kya hai yaar? Come on, could be better, definitely. Now this is on obviously off-road height, so you can see there is the air suspension raised all the way to the top. You know what, when you unlock the car at night, it projects the Defender logo here on the side, which looks quite cool. This also looks cool on one of the sides. I think it's functional for the snorkel if you want to get that done, of course. Gloss black finishing here, indicator here, of course. Now you press this button to unlock the car, keyless entry. You can do it with the remote, or you can just press a button. They could have done it the way Honda does it. You put your hand, it automatically unlocks. Here you can see the car is raised all the way. Alloy wheels again continue to disappoint no matter from where you look at it. But yeah, it looks a little awkward in 3-door format. I think the 5-door looks the best. The 110, of course. Let's open this. You know what, there's this position for AdBlue for the diesel, I believe. This is obviously a petrol model. Let's just shut this. Window area is big enough. There are the Safari windows, one on this side, one on the other side, and here you can see there's a roof rail. It's so tall that I have to actually climb here right now to show you the top. Oh my god, it's really very hot. So white colored roof, that is the shark fin antenna, which is extremely important in this car. I'll tell you why. And let's jump downwards. Okay, here I love the rear tail lights. They look super duper awesome. This is obviously for the indicator, and this is the rear fog. You get rear parking sensors almost everywhere. Full size spare wheel, because when you go off-road and if something goes wrong with the tire, you need a full size wheel. You don't need a space saver. And talking about the size of the tire, 255/60/20 is what we get on this vehicle. Anyways, the camera is actually here, right there, and it also gets a spray so that when you dirty the camera off-road, you can easily clean it as well. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will remain far from this exhaust. Okay, exhaust, we have 2 of them. There you can see the underbody and the air suspension and the massive tires as well. Alright, now the thing is, the camera is so low now, and this spare wheel obviously hinders rearward visibility, and then the headrest also does that. So they have a camera here right there, which is extremely useful. There's a high mounted stop lamp right there. Let's open the tailgate, and there isn't much space on offer. So this is actually the parcel shelf, which you can use like this. Okay, it's a bit weird to use this parcel shelf, but you know what, it actually comes off, so you can just simply remove it like this and store it wherever you feel like. Okay, there is this proper metal partition, and below here you obviously get the jack with Land Rover written right there. Now since the car is raised all the way, to make it easier to stuff in luggage, there's this button which you can press to reduce the ride height of the vehicle. So I'm just going to do this, and there you can see the car's ride height is decreasing. This is so that it becomes easier to store in stuff, and yeah, that's it. There you go. We have reduced the ride height from here. That's also a very nice feature to have. Here you have a hook. You have a hook on the other side as well, and the seats recline in 40, 20, 40 format. So if I press this button here, I can recline it like that if I want to carry a longer item, or I mean I can recline all the seats here, press this lever, and there it goes. So all of them can be reclined. Like, doesn't go all the way flat, which is kind of disappointing, but then you can increase the boot carrying capacity, because the boot is kind of useless, because obviously short wheelbase. You know what, the wheelbase is actually less than 2.6 meters. The length of the car is actually lesser than 4.6 meters. Okay, there's some storage space here. This is where the first aid kit is. It says Defender right there, and easy to close this like that. That's done. Now the difficult part starts now. How do you actually get inside? Okay, for starters, you have to just pull this ahead like this. Okay, when you do this, there's this button, you press this, it keeps going ahead all the way, so it just becomes easier to get inside. Now I like the fact that it moves ahead, but it moves at a very slow pace. There you can see the problem is now it's very difficult to get in. Climbing in and out is extremely difficult in this car, and we're going to put this back into place. So although this is a 40-20-40, it becomes a 60-40. Here, push it, and we are back into place. There's a center armrest here. Yeah. So they've kind of messed the way they have done the seat belts, because the seat belt position is so far behind where you are sitting that you have to really make an effort to actually get to the seat belt. Isofix child seat anchors right there, and there's a light here. Can you see that? There's a light in the boot, which is very handy. It's there on both the sides, so they tried to get some practicality in this car. There's a center armrest with twin cup holders, and so that you can see what's behind, you can actually put this down like that, the center headrest, but everybody gets a proper head, which is a good thing. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sun blind of the sunroof. Now the thing is, under thigh support is extremely poor. Legroom is fine when the seat is ahead, but when you get it behind, okay, ideal position would be somewhere like this. Then legroom isn't that great either. Knee room isn't that great. You can see how you're sitting, that my knee is almost right there, of course. And then there's this provision to put an iPad, probably with a charging port as well. But yeah, poor under thigh support. Headroom is just about adequate, and the recline angle of the seat could have been better. It doesn't recline any further, that's about it. But you get these beautiful safari windows, you know, for giraffe spotting, of course, and the window area is also nice, so it gets that airy feeling. And there's this handle to hold on to. There's a tweeter placement right there, scooped out seat bag, magazine holder as well. There's space for stuff right there. Twin cup holders, sort of twin, of course. This thing comes out as well, so yeah, practical, even though not really practical. Now here you see there are two USB-C charging sockets. There is a regular 12-volt charging socket, and these are the controls for the air conditioning. Now the problem is that when you control the air conditioning here, it automatically controls it at the front as well. So yeah, air conditioning speed increases at the front when I increase it here. So thing is that it doesn't only work at the rear zone. Now it does seem to have a 4-zone climate control air conditioning. If I press this button like this, I can turn on seat heating, but seat ventilation function is not available for rear seat passengers, which is disappointing. Yeah, quite disappointing actually. They should have actually offered that for sure. Yeah, that is how you turn on the heating of the rear seats. I love the way this has been done. AC vent placement right there. And now the difficult part is to get out, which means I have to press this button, and I have to keep the button pressed. No, yeah, I press it once, it will go ahead. Says airbag right here. This thing also opens. You have to like pull it out, I don't know for what, and you can see the massive glass roof. Obviously this is going to open. let's see the dashboard design, which looks awesome as always. Now getting in and out is difficult, so I'm just going to hold this and try to just jump out, but it's not easy, trust me. It is a very difficult thing, and when I push this behind now, it will not go behind. I have to keep this button pressed to push this all the way behind. Obviously it has got electric adjust for both the front seats, which is a nice touch, and here you can see the buttons for the same. It says Defender here, but the glove box, although lockable, is very small. However, there's so much storage space. It says Defender here. This actually lights up at night because this whole thing lights up green, so green is the ambient light color. Rubber finishing, very nice mix of luxury and ruggedness, very robust as well. So yeah, you can keep whatever you feel like here on the dashboard itself. There is a charging socket here, a USB charging socket, and I like the color scheme for sure. Now there's sort of a wood treatment here. This is to lock the door. You can only lock the door from here. How do you unlock the door? That's kind of funny. The co-driver should be able to unlock the door because the unlocking function is there on the other side. Again, door pockets are big. Again, you get rubberized materials here, so that's a good thing. Now this is a reflector, so just in case you open the door, people behind can see that the door is open, and obviously the door is larger so that it's easier to get in, but yeah, it's a little difficult to keep the door open when you are parked in small spaces. Here you see exposed bits, the screw heads, memory functions. You can save up to 3 people's settings. And why is there this dummy button here? Meko samajh nahi aa raha. Anyways, power window button is actually hidden behind this handle, so some things could have been done a lot better. And there's this white treatment, a lot of play with colors by Land Rover, which is kind of nice. Okay, I think the snorkel can be fit here, right there. That's to pull in air. It says Defender, so quite a bit of functional bits on this car as well. Let's do one thing. Let's get into the driver's side of the seat, but let me show you the rear wiper, which is actually hidden. Yeah, there is a rear wiper and washer. So they'll always like to do hidden wipers. I don't know why. The rear wiper at least. Some design treatment right there. It's not what you think. Let's get in. Now that thing I was saying, it projects on the road. It does it on both the sides, not just the driver's side. Again, big enough door pockets. Here you get the buttons for the memory seats. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. Press both of them together and there the outside rear view mirror shuts. Press them again and then they obviously open. This is dummy patch which has been put because no rear power windows here. These are the controls for the power windows. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car. It says Meridian right here. Nice door handles, but the position is a bit low, and then obviously nice use of material. I mean, it's a very different sort of a car. You get a proper dead pedal there, and this is, I think, for adjusting the headlight leveler. This is the electric parking brake of the vehicle. Again, Defender here. Now the thing is that memory seats actually work really well because I press this button, there you can see both the seat as well as the steering wheel are moving, so both of them get electric adjust, which is kind of nice. But you know what, the seat is actually a little slow because when you want to get behind, you can do it from here as well. So there's this lever, same as the one we have seen on the other side. So दोनों exactly same as. उसको pull करो, ये button दबाओ, ये आगे चला जाएगा, and there you can actually get in from here as well. I love the exposed screw heads. They look nice, and again there's wood. They like used almost everything possible, every sort of color. That's kind of awesome. I love the dashboard, but the car is so wide now. It's so wide, it's more than 2 meters in terms of width, that they had to actually go ahead and put an additional sun visor here. Yeah, there's an additional sun visor because the car is so wide, and because the car is so wide, they actually had to make sure that they could give it more space, because obviously when you're going off-road, you want to stuff in a lot of things. That's the reason why this car actually has so much space here. Yeah, that's right, there's so much space below the center as well. That's like what we see in electric cars. That's the level of space on offer. Absolutely crazy. And because the dashboard is so huge, this screen, which is 10 inch in size, actually looks kind of small. Now here again, press this button. If I do it like this, ventilation, this is for heating, of course. So nicely used stuff. They've managed to extract the best out by using minimum amount of stuff in this car, which is kind of cool. All these buttons are for the air conditioning. This is to increase the ride height of the vehicle. This is to decrease the ride height of the vehicle. Traction control, low ratio, downhill assist, automatic stop start system. So all the major buttons are given here. This is the gear lever which is on the dashboard, which looks nice and obviously good to operate as well. This is the engine start button. There is a regular USB charging socket, USB-C power socket here. Twin cup holders. There's a wireless charging pad which just does not work at all. So this is very poorly done. Okay, there's this cubby hole here which gets the cooling function Yep, below the front center armrest. It really cools it, and it's illuminated at night as well. In fact, when you turn on the car at night, it shows some sort of a nice display here, and when you turn it off again, it shows some sort of a nice display there. Same is the case here as well. In the instrument cluster, when you turn it on and off, it shows this nice display. By the way, talking about the instrument cluster, this is a 10-inch unit as well. Again, both are 10-inch units. This is known as the PV Pro. It's very slick to operate, so easy to get into stuff. You get into seat. Here you can increase or decrease the seat heating and ventilation. This is for the rear, so it only gets into heating, and for the front I can decide cooling and heating. So you can operate all the cooling and heating from here itself, which is kind of cool. And obviously it gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity. There's a valley mode as well. You can get into eco data to see how eco-friendly you have been driving this car. If you wanted eco-friendly driving, you would not get a Defender, trust me on this. Okay, and if you forget the vehicle dimensions, there's a menu for that which tells you what is the exact dimension of the vehicle. Oh my god, vehicle set in access height. So access height is basically, it decreases the ride height from off-road height to ensure that it's easy for you to get inside the car. So that is what is access height. It's a very nice system, low traction launch 4x4i. Basically it's to do with the 4-wheel drive system, of course. And then you can get into a lot of things. There's something known as weight sensing as well, which shows how much water has actually come to the level of the vehicle. So plenty of off-road bits there. You can see it shows you so much information, like what is the angle of turn and whatnot. I really like this menu, easy to operate, slick enough. Then there are voice commands as well. The problem is that it's not that easy to use, and it also gives you
to the voice tutorial.
It will also teach you how to use. That is the kind of attention to detail they have gone for. Now the most important bit here happens to be the cameras. Before that, let's get into settings. Now there are multiple themes for the same: auto theme, dark theme, light theme. We just put it dark at the moment. Then you can decide if you want the home screen to have tiles, or if you want to just change it to, you know, icons. You can change how you want the audio system to work, and then all the settings have been given here, and there's so many settings. It's like absolutely crazy, but honestly the camera is the best in this car. Now this is the camera for the on-road version, and then you can decide how you want to see various amount of things. So you can just change the camera angle as well, and it looks super duper cool because this actually says it is best seen under 40 kilometers per hour, but it works at all speeds. So yeah, 360-degree camera, fantastic in this car. I'll do one thing, I'll keep changing the camera when I'm driving this car so you guys are able to get an experience of the same. In fact, the attention to detail of the camera is such that if I turn on the indicator, you can see the indicator is functioning there. That is the kind of attention to detail. We just get into reverse, so there you can see, you know what, when you're parking the car, it does this whole dance thingy here, which is very similar to what we have seen in BMW cars as well. The parking sensors are going absolutely crazy. Now there's an off-road mode for the camera as well, and there you can see side cameras. And that's not all, you can actually see what is underneath the car as well, just making it so much easier to go through bad roads or off-road so you don't hit a stone or something of that sort. You can see there's so much storage everywhere. There's just storage inside this car. Now the steering wheel is just humongous. It's like too big a steering wheel. The horn. These are the controls for the cruise control. These are the controls for the audio system as well as for that screen. Now you can do a lot with that screen. The only problem is not very slick to operate. So here you see I can get into tire pressure monitor. I can decide what I want in the center panel. I can change the layouts as well. So let's put it on one dial. This is the one dial layout, wherein you can decide what you want to see. So the Defender 90 is here. This becomes the speedometer as well as tachometer. There is obviously the navigation or the map data. Very easy to operate as such. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is actually very nice. Let's do one thing. Let's use the wipers right away. Okay, there you see. The spray actually comes from inside the wipers because the spray is attached there, only the nozzle for the same. Wipers do a great job. I'm surprised they don't have 3 wipers because the windscreen is also so huge in this car. Okay, automatic wipers, automatic headlights. Let's do one thing. Let's get into reverse, okay? And then let's use the rear wipers. I'll tell you why. Firstly, let's get into the on-road view. And there, when I get into the reverse, rear wiper, you can see the spray is happening here. You can see that as well. Very nicely done. Obviously, electric adjust for the steering wheel, both for reach as well as rake. So yeah, fantastic. You know what, you can actually get a seat here, making it a 3+2 seater or a 3-seater. 3 people can sit there. If you don't like them, you can make them sit behind because yeah, it's just not comfortable. But window area is humongous. And let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the vehicle, and that's the tilt function, and I press it once and then the whole sunroof will open. It's actually a massive sunroof. It's humongous, but I don't think it's going to open any further because there the shark fin antenna comes into play and it will knock it off, because this car obviously has the clear side camera. This is the clear side camera. I press this and there you can see I get a camera version, and I can press this button and I can decide how much brightness I want for this, and I can also decide what is the height I want for this. So all this can be changed as well, just to make sure that you can get the perfect view, and it's just a flick of a switch. I love the fact that we have got so many sun visors here, and obviously the sun visor gets a light as well. Meanwhile, okay, material quality is fantastic. AC vents look a little small. Hazard light button is placed right there. This car also gets connected features. Now, thing is, to turn on the light, all you need to do is press it like this. It's that easy. Let's do one thing. Let's actually remove this plastic sheet, which is kind of bothering me at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to shut up. Listen to this. Yeah, that didn't make much noise. There's a sunglass holder here, SOS function right there, and there's a handle to hold on to. Problem is, now when you're sitting here, now it's very difficult to go all the way behind to pull this seatbelt, and there's no height adjust for the seatbelt either, which again is disappointing. Let's do one thing. Let's turn off the car. Here, the car turns off, and let's get out of the vehicle. Okay, I told you now this is on the lower side. This should have been placed a little higher, and out we go. Doors are so freaking heavy. Okay, now let's shut the car. Okay, let's shut the door and let's just lock the car. So here I lock the car. This thing will go inside. Obviously you can see there's the camera for the 360-degree camera function. This is to lock the car, this is to unlock the car, this is to turn on the lights. There you can see you can turn on the lights if you so wish, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. Let's keep this button pressed and let's see if the windows roll down or not. They should be rolling down. There they roll down. Only the front ones, because the rear ones are fixed, of course. And there the sunroof also opens. So does the sun blind all the way, therein bringing in a lot of light. Let's do one thing. Let's start driving this Land Rover Defender 90. This is actually the SE variant. It's a lower variant. It's devoid of so many features, like kind of basic LXi trim. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning. And this is so useful, you know why? Because if I press this button, I can actually get into the various drive modes. So there are 5 modes for off-road settings, which happens to be wade, rock crawl, sand, mud ruts, and grass, gravel, and snow. Meanwhile, for road, there's only comfort and eco. So we'll just drive in comfort at the moment. And you can obviously configure a lot of those things. In fact, if I get into the configuring part here, configurable, here I can actually change a few things. So let's configure, because I can decide how I want the differential to be: automatic, lock center and rear, powertrain, relaxed, normal, responsive, steering, light, medium and heavy, traction control, less wheel spin, off-road, or more wheel spin. Obviously I would want more wheel spin, so we're just going to set this straight away into the regular drive mode only. Actually मैं गलत वाला दबा रहा हूँ, तो ये वाला दबाना है. So here we are in comfort mode. Traction control we will turn off, not that it's going to change anything at all. So here it says dynamic stability control always on in current drive mode, which is very disappointing. Here we get into drive mode. Into sport for the gearbox, I will turn on the camera as well, because these cameras are so amazing. He'll have a front view today. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle, hazard light off, and rev still. Okay, 3000 off we go. Yeah, so I'd actually set it to off-road height, but as soon as I exceeded, I think 100 kilometers per hour, it automatically dropped the ride height of the vehicle. Now the thing is, this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, which seems a bit underwhelming for a car which weighs 2,140 kgs. It's actually 100 kgs lighter than the Defender 110. The reason why they have opted for a 2-liter 4-cylinder Chintu-Mintu engine here is for emission norms and better efficiency, of course. This one produces 300 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. That 400 Newton meters of torque comes in at a low 1500 RPM and stays there till 4500 RPM. But there is some amount of turbo lag lower down the rev range. So off the line, it's not very quick. However, mid-range is really very strong. Like mid-range is absolutely fantastic here. And the top end, it kind of runs out of breath quite fast. But the mid-range grunt kind of covers up for everything. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes up in just 7.1 seconds, which is 0.3 seconds faster than the Defender 110, which is actually decently quick. Actually, that Parcel Shelf now is flying all over the place. The engine actually likes to rev, which is kind of surprising, and the steering wheel is an absolute delight. Like really, I didn't expect the steering wheel to be so good because it weighs up, it's very direct, and obviously at high speeds it doesn't feel nervous. In fact, the car also, in spite of looking like a fridge and having the aerodynamics of a fridge, doesn't waver around at all. Yeah, there is some movement which can be felt in spite of the fact that this is not a body on frame platform car. This is actually a monocoque chassis. Still, I don't know why it's kind of moving along, maybe because of the short wheelbase. But when you compare it to usual short wheelbase version cars, this is just fantastic and in a different league altogether. Engine actually sounds sporty, and I was like, chalo downshift marte, but there are no paddle shifters, which is very shocking. Yeah, Land Rover should have given paddle shifters. That's like basic, but you can shift gears like this. So we are going to get into 8th gear at the moment, and once you get into 8th gear, you know what, the engine is so refined, you usually hear the tire noise. Yeah, because obviously these are all-terrain tires, and you hear the tire noise because the road conditions are not the best. Otherwise, motor is so refined you barely hear it unless and until you push it really hard. And this is an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, which is okay, fine, not really fast, not very slow. It gets you the right gear most of the time. So yeah, it is sure-footed in that regard. And here now, it's not making a downshift even when I'm mashing the throttle because I am in manual mode. So this sport mode also doubles up sort of as a manual mode. If you shift it, now it will of course shift down and pull strongly as well. Top speed 191 kilometers per hour. But if you're looking to buy a Defender, please do not get this engine because it drinks. It returns a mileage between 5 to 7 kilometers per liter, which is kind of poor. And if you want that kind of mileage, might as well get the more powerful 6-cylinder version petrol engine, which is a 3-liter as well, and there's a 3-liter diesel as well, which is, I think, the engine to buy. The car, I mean, the engine to have in your Defender, because that one has the torque, has the grunt, and the efficiency as well. Pretty good performance there. But you know what? It's obviously more expensive, and if you're talking about expense, well, you can pay a lot more and get 525 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.2 seconds, and a top speed of 240 kilometers per hour with the V8 model. And talking about models and variants, there are so many of them. This car has around 24 variants available, out of which I think 14 are just for the 90 itself, and the 90 does not have air suspension as standard, that's optional. 110 has air suspension as standard, and I think they've launched a lot more editions. V8 to maine include nahi kiya wo 24 variants mein, so when you factor in that, you realize that this car has crazy amount of variants on offer. And this is the lower SE trim, which I don't think is on sale anymore. At least I can't see it on the Land Rover website. And like I was telling you, there's some X variant, there's, I mean, so many variants of this car. It's absolutely crazy why Land Rover wants to go ahead and be like, let's confuse everybody by launching so many variants of our cars that people will wonder, ye ho kya raha hai? So that obviously creates the confusion, because you can also customize a lot of things inside this car. There's like, sky is probably the limit here of what all you want in your Defender. And then there's going to be the Defender 130 as well, which will be available in another 10-15 variants, which means this car will have 50 freaking variants on offer, because it's CBU. Now you order it and then they will ship whatever you want. So that's how it works. Engine actually has this sporty snarl at higher end of the rev range. When you push it hard, you can hear that sportiness, which is quite nice. The ride is actually very good. Ride is actually extremely amazing. So suspension is obviously on the softer side. Suspension travel is also high. Standard, this one comes with coil springs, which means the ground clearance is 216 mm standard, okay? But if you get the air suspension, you can raise that ground clearance to the off-road height of 290 mm, which is quite a lot. Although honestly, off-road, that won't make much of a difference, because the wishbones at the front, they don't change. They are kya bolte hain, height remains the same, so that really doesn't affect as much. But then obviously with that off-road height, you can get more confidence while trying to do articulation and stuff like that. And this car is really very capable, extremely capable. A vehicle can do almost everything you want out of it. Overall insulation in the cabin is also very impressive. You can't hear a thing as such, and I love the way the steering has been done. Although you can see roly-poly, yes, roly-poly is happening, but this is sort of an LXI variant. That's why it doesn't get any ADAS functions. It's like very basic in that regard. Why would Land Rover like not offer anything whatsoever? थोड़ी बहुत features दे ही देते तो अच्छा होता. Your hazard light on, we'll stop here. Brakes, you can see nosedive but sure-footed. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. It actually gives you a genuine push back into the seat. That is the kind of performance, so that's the softness of the suspension, because of which you can feel that. But yes, engine has adequate performance for a car which weighs so much. I don't know how they managed to give it adequate performance. So yes, that's kind of impressive. But then, you know, you're buying Defender for a lot of swag value, so you definitely want more performance out of it. Now, talking about the pricing, the range actually starts at 1.02 crores on-road Mumbai, goes all the way to 1.46 crores on-road Mumbai. This one costs rupees 1.06 crores on-road Mumbai. But whatever price I told you does not include the V8 models, because I think the V8 pricing has not yet been announced, although V8 models are available on Land Rover's website. And since it's a CBO, it can be customized to the moon and back. Now, there's a Valley mode here which locks the infotainment screen, but it does not lock any speed of the car. So yesterday I gave this car to Valley and I'm like, अब तो देखना 20 की speed पे चलाएगा वो. And then the car was taking a lot of time to come. So Noreen is like, you know what, Valley mode में ना गाड़ी चली नहीं रही होगी, वो बहुत time लगा रहा है. And then I was driving on Valley mode. I'm like, ये तो आराम से 100 पहुंच रही है, ये क्या हो गया? So that's another thing, that Valley mode is not really restricting the speed of this car. Now, high speed stability is actually quite impressive in spite of the fact that this is obviously short wheelbase. But honestly, the Defender 110 just feels so much better to drive. With the Defender 90, maneuverability is much better, of course. It's easier to park, easier to take it off-road as well. When you go off-road, it's easier to go through all the obstacles too. So that's an advantage, and it's lighter, so slightly faster, better, more efficient, of course. So few things you obviously appreciate of this car being a shorter wheelbase version, but it's not practical. Nobody can sit at the rear, and getting in and out is very difficult. So I would say avoid the 90, get the 110. It somehow drives better because of the longer wheelbase, that high speed stability, that there's no lumpiness in it, and it's a car which you can use daily as well as for off-road activities. So this is like an amazing all-rounder. It can do it all, honestly. It can do it all. It is that good a vehicle. This Land Rover Defender is amazing, absolutely amazing. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. This car has a water weighting capacity of 900 mm, which is unbelievably good, and the price difference between the 90 and the 110 happens to be around 5 to 6 lakh rupees. So the price difference between the 110 and the 130 would be around another 5-6 lakh rupees, which means the price difference between the 90 and the 130 would be around 10 lakh rupees. 130 is kind of an overkill. Get the Force Tufan if you're looking to carry 8 people in sort of comfort. But if you're looking to make a style statement, if you're looking for a car which has the presence, which can do it all, do not get the Defender 90, get the Defender 110. The Defender 110 is just better in almost every possible way. I love it so much. This one I like. I mean, it obviously attracts a lot of attention somehow. वो glass पे जो है ना, वो panel इस गाड़ी में तो है नहीं, but website पे तो दिखा रहे हैं. I think the Defender is a fantastic car. इसी मन क्या हॉर्न मारने का तो मार ही लिया, मन क्या वाइपर चलाने का चला ही लिया, एंड इसको भी हम खोल देते हैं because we can. Camera is fantastic. But you know what is the problem with Land Rovers? Their reliability is not up to the mark, and obviously we all have heard of those stories that Land Rovers are not the most reliable in that regard. This car has taken around 8 more months since the time I asked them to give it to me, because some or the other issue happened, and that's the reason they're like, please do not take the car off-road because something or the other might break or go wrong, and that's the reason we're not off-roading the car now. However, once monsoons kick in, I'm hoping to take not only this car but a bunch of other cars as well off-road to test them back to back to see which one excels the most. And now it's time to take a U-turn where I show you how easy it is to actually turn this car around. You know what? The advantages of a short wheelbase is nullified when you realize that what's the point of arriving with nobody inside the car, like alone. That's the reason nobody's there to monitor my camera today. Bhagwati has hanged herself behind, and she's the one who's making noise going forward and behind all the time. This map view is also kind of cool. I love the cameras. Yeah, the cameras are super duper cool and awesome as well. Let's take a U-turn here. You see, very easy, very I would say effortless to drive this car, in spite of the fact it's a hugely heavy car with a height which makes you see the roof of almost every vehicle around you. And this is also having sort of a film which is auto dimming function. I like it. I really like it. I can look at these cameras all day long, and there's this off-road camera as well wherein you can see what's below. Yeah, just press this button and there saying not live. What do you mean it's not live? It should be live. So guys, if you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I honestly did not enjoy driving this car as much because the performance is kind of lackluster. It's not that fun or exciting or the one which will put your pants on fire. It gets the job done, but if I'm paying more than 1 crore rupees, I expect a lot more. I don't understand why we have such lower trims devoid of features. I don't understand why a Land Rover does not give paddle shifter. I don't understand a lot of things about this Defender. So that's the only thing I'm disappointed about. Otherwise, it's a fantastic car. A car which can kind of do it all with the ride quality, which is unbelievable on the road, largely because of the monocoque platform, where everyone else, like the G-Wagon and the Jeep Wrangler, are actually using, you know it right, a body on frame platform, which has its issues, like there's shudder, the tires make a lot of more noise when you hit a bump and all. None of that feeling inside this car. But if you're looking for practicality, you would rather get the Discovery 5. Okay, I know I'm giving you a lot more options, but a Defender has that appeal which is very difficult to match. No manual control for the gearbox. So guys, if you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.